What's up, my Central Unit? It's the Central Man here. So this is my review of Monday Nitro. This is a double review of Monday Nitro for the 2nd of October 1995 and also the 9th of October 1995. So I'm doing a double review. So I wrote down the matches on the show. It's not a lot because Nitro at the time was 1 hour, 45 minutes. I think it's got 45 to 48 minutes on the network, and I'll do another double review on Friday, and then on Saturday I'll do my review of Monday Nitro. Actually, not Monday Nitro. WCW Halloween Havoc 1995. Not doing a review. I'm not doing another live reaction of Arsenal Man City. I don't know. I'd rather just do a live reaction of the Old Firm Derby, Celtic and Rangers on Saturday. Who knows? Anyway, so let's get to the 2nd of October 1995 review of Monday Nitro. This show was in Denver, Colorado. The first match of the 2nd of October 95 episode of Nitro, we got Randy Savage versus Lex Luger. I think it's their first match they fought because they never fought before because they come from two different companies. Because most of the time, Savage wrestled in the World Wrestling Federation. Luger, NWA and / WCW. No, did they fought? I think they did fought. No, he didn't. They didn't fought. They didn't fought in the WWF because at the time Luger was a wrestler and Savage was basically a commentator. It's a damn shame, but it's just whatever. But anyway, at least we got Savage versus Luger. Anyway, so the match was okay. It was an okay match. Because the height and the build for weeks now, but really the tension was built for weeks between Savage and Luger. Self-proclaimed like Luger punched Savage in the face at Fall Brawl, and then anyway, this is a title versus career match. So basically, if Savage win, he'll really takes Luger's title shot. And also, if Luger failed to beat Savage, he will leave WCW. Like I say, it was an okay match. Wasn't really bad, but wasn't like fantastic. Basically a referee bump. I think who's the referee? I think it was Randy Anderson. Anderson got bumped, and then Savage hit Luger with the diving elbow, and then all of a sudden you got the Giant. The Giant came down, choke slammed Savage, then Luger locked Savage with the torture rack. And basically, the referee did, every time they do like a submission hold, the referee just, grab the unconscious wrestler arm if he cannot, respond for the count of three. He's basically a TKO. He didn't get tapped out, he TKO'd. So anyway, so Savage, is unconscious. Luger won. Yeah, it's very funny. Why the Giant basically attacked Savage, but not Luger, because the previous episode of Nitro, Giant attacked Luger, and all of a sudden he didn't attack Luger. I don't know why, but I don't want to get into it. So yeah, Luger won by not submission but TKO because Savage is already knocked out after the choke slam by the Giant. Anyway, so moving on to the next match. The next match, we've got Eddie Guerrero making his Monday Nitro debut against Dean Malenko. I'm guessing it's his Nitro debut as well because Eddie Guerrero made his debut on an episode called Main Event. I don't think you can get it on the network. You probably find it on the network pro. Yeah, you probably try check it on YouTube, but. Anyway, so this match was good. This is pre-Cruiserweight era because the Cruiserweight division was launched in 1996, the following year. But this was good. They had better matches in later years. I think like the most notable match they had was at Starrcade in 1997. Yeah, it was good cruiserweight stuff. During the Guerrero Malenko match, you had Hulk Hogan arriving in the building wearing the neck brace, and basically like Jimmy Hart trying to warn him because the Giants in the arena, and Hogan says about if you're with me, you're against me. 10,000, not 10,000 Hulkamaniacs not going to stop me. And you're not going to stop me. So anyway, this is planting the seeds of a Jimmy Hart heel turn. I explained it when I review Halloween Havoc 1995. So anyway, back to Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko match. Yeah, like I said, they had better matches in better years in WCW. I don't, you know, I think they had. I don't think they had. I think they had a match in the WWF. Think so. Anyway, so yeah. I think Eddie hit like a splash off the top rope outside the ring, and Malenko catch Eddie. Yeah, it was basically a crossbody. That was cool. In the end, Eddie got the victory with a roll up, and afterwards, basically like Malenko and Guerrero shake hands, and basically ask for a rematch. So, Malenko wants Eddie a rematch, and Eddie say, hey, sure. And also before the start of this match, you had Disco Inferno doing his dancing. It was just like a random thing. I don't know why he's there. Not Malenko, Disco Inferno, his gimmick, Glenn Gilberti, it's a hit or miss. He did make that character work. It's just, he made his character work. Why he's there in the first place. Put him in like a segment or a match because like I said, Nitro at the time was 1 hour before they bumped up to 2 hours, then 3 hours. They bumped up the hours over the years, so I don't know why. So it was a good match between Eddie versus Dean Malenko, future members of the Radicals. And also, I think they were part of a group called the Revolution. This was like in 1999 WCW, before they left the company in 2000. Anyway, and then we got Hogan. We got Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing Hulk Hogan. He was wearing a neck brace. He's basically calling out the Giant, and I said about Giant, I'm gonna go into the back to find the Giant. He ripped his T-shirt off. He was high-fiving the fans, and then all of a sudden you got Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, dressing up like a woman. Hit Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan with a walking stick, and then you got the Zodiac, Ed Leslie, the former Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, and the Giant basically came down. Giant, attacked Hogan. I think he took off his neck brace, did the neck crank. This is like decades before the Feed will do that. And then you got Kevin Sullivan grab clippers and shave off Hulk Hogan's mustache, to add salt to injury. So it was like building up the Giant for Halloween Havoc, and then you got the baby faces showing up. You had the American males. That's Marcus Alexander Bagwell, the future Buff Bagwell, and Scotty Riggs. Came to the rescue, but unfortunately got thwarted by the Giant. They got chokeslammed, and then you got the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags. Same thing, got chokeslammed. Yeah, they really build the Giant up like this monster, the freak of nature, because WCW could do what WWE failed to do for years, book this dude like a freak of nature, a giant. They tend to do that, but sometimes they make them out of comedy actors. They don't know what they do with the, Paul White, the Big Show. WCW, they do well because the Giant only turned, I think it was twice a heel, one time a babyface. With WWE, it's face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn. So anyway, moving on to the main event. Like I said, it's an hour show. We got Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson. This is the rematch from Fall Brawl. And this was match of the night for me. Not on the same level as the match at Fall Brawl. It was back and forth between Flair and Arn Anderson. Good technical style wrestling. In the end, you had Brian Pillman came out, and it was also a DQ. And this was a bit confusing. When Pillman was about to hit the, I think it was a frog splash, while Ric Flair locked Arn Anderson with the figure four leg lock, the referee just orders suddenly, hey, ring the bell, without Pillman basically hit the frog, just before Pillman hit the frog splash. I don't understand why. And then afterwards, like, Pillman hit the frog splash onto Flair, Arn Anderson and Ric Flair basically beat, Brian Pillman, sorry. Pillman and Arn Anderson, or Double A, basically beating down Ric Flair. And this is building up to next week's episode of Nitro, a rematch for next week's episode of Nitro. So, anyway, so I'll get to my final thoughts of both shows at the end of this review. So, moving on to, the 9th of October's episode of Monday Nitro. This show was in Chicago. You got Bischoff, Heenan, and Mongo wearing Chicago Cubs t-shirts. With Mongo, it is appropriate because it makes sense, because I think he was, he's a former American football player. I think he did play in the NFL. I think he played for the Chicago Cubs. I think. Anyway, I forgot. And also you got Sting just came to the announce table. Talked about how he's going to sort out the problems between Macho Man and Luger. And I forgot to tell you from the beginning of the 2nd of October's 1995 review of Nitro, Ric Flair does the same thing. So he's chatting about their match on the main event. So basically, now wrestlers do it like just, before the start, really at the start of the show, basically wrestlers come to the announce table and showing what's going to happen on Nitro. I don't know, it's anything goes. Anyway, so, and speaking of Sting kick off the opening match. We've got Sting defending the United States title against Shark. Shark is John Tenta, the former Avalanche. I done my research. I think, they really changed Avalanche's name to the Shark because I think they got trouble. They ended up getting sued by the WWF because he was very close to Earthquake. This is the same situation with, Ray Traylor. He kind of dipped, because Big Boss Man, he was, WCW made him as the boss, and then they changed the character because of lawsuit, because the Endo wouldn't get sued by the World Wrestling Federation, and he was was it Guardian, the Angel, and Big Bobby Rogers. Anyway, so this match was short. It was short for what it is. Sting hit like 2 double Stinger splashes onto the Shark, hit the crossbody, and that was it. Sting wins this match and retained the United States title. Makes sense. I don't want to see, it'd be stupid to have the Shark won the title on the show. That would be like devalue the belt, because at this point, they're still in this cartoonish side of pro wrestling. It's basically what WCW was doing at the time. Let's recapture, or relive the glory days of the 1980s WWF, and let's put it and do it into mid-90s WCW. That was, because at the time pro wrestling was going backwards. It got really bad for years to come. It got bad 1 year later with the NWO. So anyway, let's move on to the next match. So yeah, it was a short match. Sting got the victory, and it was no problem with it. Oh boy. And then, the next match, we've got Sabu taking on JL. JL is Jerry Lynn under the mask. And this was a good match. This is pre-Cruiserweight era. 1 year later, because WCW will launch the Cruiserweight division. The match quality will get better, with the Cruiserweight division, I'll get to 1996. That'll be probably in weeks, because I'm doing like 4 episodes in October, then doing like November episodes of Nitro in October. But anyway, so yeah, this match was good. Good Cruiserweight titles, Cruiserweight moves, because they're both high flyers, both Jerry Lynn and Sabu. In the end, Sabu locked GL with the I'll call him Jerry Lynn because he is Jerry Lynn. In the camel clutch to score the victory. I never knew Jerry Lynn wrestled in WCW. You know, he wrestled in the WWF. He wrestled in TNA. He wrestled in ECW. I think he wrestled in. I think he wrestled in Ring of Honor. I don't know if he wrestled in Japan. I don't think so. But in WCW, yeah, it's really mystery to me. For Sabu, Sabu, I think this is one of it. He never lasts long in WCW. Like I said, he debuted in September. And then also by the time I think in November, he left the company to go back to ECW, and he came back. His first appearance back on ECW was November to Remember. So yes, Sabu. I'm really shocked at how Sabu locked. Really, he used a submission hold to win. I never see Sabu using a submission hold. You know, he submission JL or Jerry Lynn with a camel clutch. You know, he's more. You know, Sabu's more like a high flying wrestler. I never knew he used a submission hold. It's just like whatever. So you know. Anyway, so yeah, it was a good match. I think it's the only good. Actually, it's the only good match on the show. You know, after that, the show went downhill ever since. Oh, afterwards, sorry, not ever since, but afterwards. I'm trying to say. Anyway, so we've got this confusing segment between Sting, Luger, and Savage. Basically, you know, we're mostly yelling because they're still feuding between Luger and Savage because they didn't bring up. They still bring up for last week's episode of Nitro. And by the way, this was because the 2nd of October's episode of Nitro, because Nitro's been airing for a month. Forgot to tell you this. Anyway, so Savage has some points about he kind of confronts Sting a little bit, like why the giant chokeslam me, chokeslam Luger. I think he chokeslam Luger. I think he locked him in a bear hug. Chokeslam Hogan and never chokeslam you. And then also how Sting isn't a 40 figure. Yeah, he become a 40 figure in TNA. Really about 26 years later. Not 26 years later, but 16 years later. I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's confusing. And also, like Sting says, how about you guys compete in matches at Halloween Havoc? You know, how about Savage? How about you face Kamala and you Luger face Ming, and the winner, if you win your matches, you'll face each other at Halloween Havoc. It's confusing to me. And also, he kind of had a dig with Lex Luger. It's like, are you the total package? I'm talking the total package. It's like, and Luger says, I am the total package. I don't know. And then say, yeah, I'll compete. Yeah, it's just like, first off, why could they have basically Luger and Savage face each other on Halloween Havoc instead of facing like members of the Dungeon of Doom? What the fuck is this? I don't understand this shit, man. I do not understand. Like, how's Sting got the power to create matches because he's not a 30 figure. He's still an active wrestler. Like, yeah, he had the dig. Like, I thought I'm trying to say, I thought I'm speaking with the total package. I'm trying to say, and like, I'll get to my review of Halloween Havoc this Saturday. I'm trying to say, yeah, I'm losing brain cells. This segment, it's just like so confusing. They're mostly yelling, but it's just basically, yeah. I understand Sting will be the peacemaker, and all of a sudden he's a GM. He's making matches. I think like at this point, like Nick Bockwinkel was the last authority figure before Bischoff became the authority figure in 1996 or late 1996 because Bockwinkel left the company. I think he got fired after he forgot the name of the next pay-per-view. This was during the segment between Vader and Hogan. This was way back in the summer of that year. Yeah. So anyway, I'll move on to the next one. The next segment is a bit short. We got Chris Benoit making his debut. He kind of arrived. He kind of was riding on a limo, wearing a suit. It's very shit. It's really like odd that I'm seeing Chris Benoit wearing a suit. You know, the Rabbit Wolverine wearing a suit. You know, he was the Rabbit Wolverine in the WWE, but seeing Benoit wearing a suit is kind of odd to me. Yeah, I think he wears a suit when he was part of the Horsemen, but it's kind of weird seeing the Rabbit Wolverine wearing like a suit and a tie. Anyway, moving on to the next match. The next match, we got Big Bubba Rogers, that is the former Big Boss Man, taking on Road Warrior Animal. You know, Road Warrior Animal was the hometown boy. This is in Chicago. Actually, he's not really from Chicago. You know, I think he was born in Minnesota. I've seen the Road Warriors documentary, not the the Dark Side of the Ring one. This is a kayfabe one from. This was like an old WWE documentary of the Legion of Doom. This is from like 2003. This was June when Hawk passed away, and this was like what about 17 years before Animal passed away. Actually, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I typed it wrong. It wasn't Animal. It was Hawk. Sorry, Road Warrior Hawks. Sorry, I typed it wrong. Big Bubba versus Hawk. Sorry about it, folks. But anyway, nothing much about this match. Once again, for the second week in a row, we got Disco Inferno dancing, and then he did show. The match was short. You got Disco Inferno dancing. He was dancing in the ring apron, and then basically, Hawk basically ripped the T-shirt off of Disco Inferno. Basically, he's chasing after Disco Inferno, and the match ended in a count out. You know, basically, Big Bubba got the victory by a count out because Hawk was so focused on beating the crap out of Disco Inferno, and it was stupid. The match sucked. Why Hawk got himself counted out? This is dumb. You know, I say he was, hometown boy because, he's kind of like adopted city because, like I said, they're from Minnesota, Hawk and Animal. But, this is the build hometown of Chicago. I think they were disappointed with why Hawk got this. This is completely stupid. I'm losing brain cells, I know it's 1995. You're not going to get good wrestling. The quality got better from years to come. But why Disco Inferno is out there? I don't know why. I'd rather see Hawk versus Big Bubba Rogers instead of like. It's just befuddled. I'm trying to say it's just like what the living fuck is that? Anyway, and then moving on to the next one. Actually the final segment on the show. Oh, that's the second last segment on the show. We got Hulk Hogan wearing all black. Basically, Mean Gene interviewing Hulk Hogan wearing black. This was like the previous week. You had the Giant basically re-injured Hogan's neck, and Kevin Sullivan shaved off Hulk Hogan's mustache. Yeah, and this is the point. Hogan's turning into the dark side. He's going in the dark side, wearing all black. It was kind of like, I understand he's kind of playing the seats of he'll wear black again 1 year later when he's part of the NWO, leader of the NWO. But this, what the fuck is that? He's supposed to be like Doom. He's supposed to be serious, and all of a sudden he's the same old Hulk Hogan. He's doing like he's so fiery. He's saying dude and brother. I don't get it. This is so fucking mind-boggling. Basically, he's still fine, and the neck brace is black. What the fuck? And then all of a sudden he's trying to call out the Dungeon of Doom on some shit, and also and also there was they cut screen to the Legion of Doom driving a monster truck. You had basically the Zodiac doing this. He's doing like this wave. I'm trying to say, it's Ed Leslie. He had a lot of crappy gimmicks. in WCW. But I like him as the barber, but he had like the fucking he was the Zodiac, he was the Booty Man. I like him as the disciple in the NWO. He looks cool, he looks fucking buff, but the fucking Zodiac man, it's just like he has a lot of crappy gimmicks. Ed Leslie, but. And then they're trying to get in the building. They got stopped by the police, and also and I think Bischoff minutes later announced that Hogan was gonna confront the Dungeon of Doom, and he got stopped by the police in Chicago. So basically, yeah, it's building up to the monster truck match at Halloween Havoc. You have to wait until Saturday when I review that show. I'm gonna end up losing brain cells. It's so cheesy and shit. So let's move on to the main event for the 9th of October 1995 episode of Nitro. We got Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson in a steel cage match. This is the third match because they had, like I said, I'm guessing like Arn Anderson won the first match against Ric Flair at Fall Brawl by the help of Brian Pillman. This is kind of playing the reformation of the Horsemen. Then the rematch the previous week on Nitro. Not the previous week, but the Nitro before after that. That was by disqualification. I'm guessing Ric Flair is 1-1 because basically Pillman hit Flair. So it's 1-1. This is basically the tiebreaker. So this is a steel cage match. So stopping Brian Pillman to get into the cage, trying to interfere in the match between Ric Flair and Double A, the Enforcer. The steel cage was short. I can't explain it. It was so short. It's about 8 meters tall. So basically, you have to walk outside of the cage instead of climbing outside the cage. It's just like, what the hell is that? They can't even they are a multi-million-dollar company. They can't afford bigger cages to produce a better steel cage match. It was a short match. It was okay. You had Flair knock Brian Pillman off the cage. Flair was going for the figure 4 leg lock onto Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson hit I think he kind of punched Ric Flair in the face. I think it was like a knuckle duster or type of foreign object. I think at this point they call it the international object. It's under Ted Turner law. It's completely stupid. They were on to change it back to the foreign object instead. Yeah, international object. What the fuck? International. I don't know why they changed it. If you know what foreign object is, it's basically turning pro wrestling for using objects to win. That's for heels. Anyway, so yeah, Arn Anderson got the victory. He is 2-1 up. And then afterwards got Ric Flair, basically came to the announce area and said he's going to challenge both Pillman and Double A in a 2-out-of-1 handicap match. Oh, I'll probably say handicap match. So this is planting the seeds of their match at Halloween Havoc. Like I said, wait until Saturday. So anyway, so my final rating I'm going to start with the 2nd of October 1995's episode of Nitro. Anyway, I think who won this? I'm going to go with the 2nd of October's episode of Nitro because it was a good show. The only good match on the show, or really 2 good matches on the show, has to be Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko and Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson. Yeah, it was disappointing with the DQ finish with Brian Pillman, but it was furthering up the rivalry between Pillman, Arn Anderson, and Ric Flair. I put the Savage and Luger match in the middle. Hogan, I was fine with it. I was fine. I know it was the cheesy stuff with the Dungeon of Doom. That was a bad faction, but it was okay. It wasn't cheesy. It was okay. Basically, Giant snapped the neck of Hogan again, injured the neck of Hogan, and Savage basically shaved off the mustache of Hulk Hogan. I was okay with it. I put it probably in the middle. So yeah, I'll probably give it 6 out of 10. It was a better show from recent weeks of Nitro in September. But you know, this was after the debut episode of Monday Nitro. The quality kind of dipped. It kind of went back up a bit, and then it went back down again of this episode of Monday Nitro from the 9th of October's episode. This was shit. It was shit. The only good matches on the show, actually, the match night for me, I have to go with Sabu versus Jerry Lynn. That was good. The only thing in the good. It's good to see Chris Benoit, but there were a lot of confusing moments. You had like Sting making matches. He's not really a GM or an authority figure or commissioner. I put it in a bad for me. It was like confusing. Yeah, Chris Benoit debut. It was okay. It was good to see Benoit making his debut. He's not wrestling yet. And yeah, and that's for the next week's episode of Nitro. He's facing Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, Big Bubba Rogers versus Animal. That match sucked. And two in the middle has to be the two matches I put in the middle. Yeah, Sting versus Shark for the United States title. That was okay. It was a short match. And Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson. Yeah, it was a short match in the steel cage. I think it's the shortest steel cage match in pro wrestling history. Yeah, in a recap for the bad, Sting making matches and Big Bubba versus Hawk. Sorry, not Animal. Hawk is the Mohawk, and Animal. Hawk is one with the with no hair, with the hair on the side. That's Hawk, and Animals with the Mohawk. And that match sucked because you got Disco Inferno. Why he's there in the first place? Do not know. So anyway, so that's my reviews of WCW Monday Nitros for the 2nd of October and the 9th of October 1995. Hope you like it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central Man on YouTube. I think next time will be, I'll do the same thing. It'll be the final 2 October episodes. Before I review Halloween Havoc in the weekend, that'll be I think it's the 16th of October. Yeah, the 16th of October, and I think it was the 23rd of October of episodes of Nitro. That'll be on Friday, so stay tuned for that. So hope you liked it, guys. Thanks for watching. And this is Central Man officially signing out, and check you later.